use the symbols of the Baha'is, that they are really truly the manifestations of the attributes of God, in other topics. The stories of Baha'i, the story of Suleiman, the story of Tahira, the story of Mullah Hussein, the story of Quddus, the story of Martha Ruth. So many thousands, milliards, so many of these great stars, shining stars. Baha'ullah talks about them. So, love is one of those acts that we have to know. God works like this. First, He attracts you towards the physical things. It is the simplest things. He teaches you the practice of it. Do you see how two animals in you, in her, do you want to have sex? Breaking it down chemically is testosterone and estrogens. You know. But they're of the same kind. They're just ready to fulfill each other. They're the two opposite sides of one thing. Like the broken pieces of glass, you know, when you put it together, they go together, like a jigsaw puzzle. The two pieces goes in there, boom. From there, He wants to create this feeling in you. Feeling that you want to see somebody, longing. And then when you see her or him, you want to sacrifice, you want to do things, you are respectful, your tone of voice change, you want to show kindness. That you have to remember, He does this, just create some kind of a prelude to the real attributes. The feeling of kindness is when emphasized to one particular person, such as the person you love, not towards others. It shows its instinctive root, because this love is not towards everybody else, just toward her. Definitely it is selfish. So basically you're loving her because she is fulfilling you. It's a deal. If she doesn't fulfill you, you don't want it. But from there, this feeling, animalistic feeling, maybe man million years ago, he found out, no, I'm not just going to break down all my feeling and all my things into sex, having oversexed this woman or this man, so I don't want him anymore. They felt there's something else in the company, in the presence. They built up on that. From animal, they became human. Then family was formed. Friendship became. Villages started. So love is that cementing power. It cements everything together. You see? And then when it goes on, the instinctive love from sex develops that this is now your child. And this is your mother. This is your sister. So it distinguishes, becomes differentiated. A man develops and evolves to understand more and more of himself, of how to know who he is. So, and then he becomes wise. He becomes thoughtful. He thinks. Then he goes on. Who has made this universe? He thinks. That's how the religion comes. His feelings. Then it develops bigger. It becomes towards the whole nations, all other people. So from material, how gradually we go travel through the highest peak. The whole thing in universe is a trend that starts from the simplicity of the material, rushes to its complexity, and then it turns into a spirit, into metaphysics. Few particles that's together to make the atoms, and atoms make the molecules, and molecule becomes DNA, and then becomes an animal, becomes a plant. It shows life, then it becomes animal, it shows senses, more metaphysics. It becomes human, it shows a lot more metaphysics. Human develops, becomes spiritual. When it reaches to a prophet God, he becomes embodiment of this spirituality. It's a thing that you do. You work, it's physical. You get money, it's physical. You give to somebody. You develop a feeling. You keep doing it. It becomes a habit. You're doing it. Then it becomes an ethic in you. And then it makes you generous. Now you're becoming a generous individual. You become a sensitive, pitiful individual. In all these directions. So that is what the trend is. We have to understand that love is very tricky. It's a gift. All the time that it comes. But it's a gift that you have to harness the energy. Don't cash it into sex. Let it be a boost to your humanity. Let it be a boost to make you a different personality. Don't go and oversex it and, go over and over and over. Then you kill it. Let the material desires press each other more and more in you to create a character in you. Be celibate as much as you can. Well, I've spoken, I think, I'm looking at it, a little bit about falling in love. But what the actual love is, that's a different things. I'm going to be talking about it in the next sections. I will be talking on the story of the Suleiman Khan, because it's an embodiment of the love. What Baha'ullah tells him is the most amazing, things that God is bringing towards his own creations. For all his attributes, I shall use an embodiment of a persona that actually exists in the Baha'i faith. The history of the Baha'i faith is not a storytelling. Baha'u'llah talks about these attributes of loyalty, martyrdom, of service. But what it means in the Baha'i dictionary, the Baha'i lexicon, is not what exactly it's been described in our dictionaries. Love in the Baha'i faith is a practical show. It's a movie, it's a live theater. Baha'u'llah not only talks about it, but he's demonstrating it in a live action to you. That is what the history of the Baha'i faith is. When you're reading the history and you come across these characters like Wahid Darabi, Mullah Hujjat Zanjani, or Mullah Hussein Bushrovi, Ja'far Jaspi, so many of them. Each one of them are manifestation of certain truth of that particular characters, many characters. Baha'u'llah shows it to you. So you're not just knowing what love is or what falling in love means, but actually you can see it by live actions. Sure, you see it. That's the history of the Baha'i faith is. It's not a story. It's not a waste of time. It's very practical. All these characters that they died in the pathway of love into a higher spirituality unknown to billions of people on the planet. It's a matter of demonstrations of God, what it means. Well, time is 12 o'clock. I think I've spoken about half an hour. I can go on and talk a lot more, but I think I've covered the area, what I'm trying to say by falling in love. Was the material, was the animalistic love, but we feel that, we should distinguish it from human love, The human love, ideological love, we have to distinguish it, not to fall into the demagogue, into the, trap of the demagogues and demagoguery. We have to live that and come to fall in love with the actual attributes and quality. And then from there, we have to find out who the real manifestation and embodiment of all these great qualities. There we will see Baha'ullah. On that point, we hit the jackpot. Your computer, your brain, your soul, your everything, subscribing to the internet of God. It might be small and minor and midget, but the information that streams on your computer, it's way bigger than any other acquired knowledge. Allah Apa, may God be with you. May the true love traps you. You fall into that trap of the pleasure of that immortal pleasure of love.